Welcome back to Barrel Brothers. You might have noticed in some of the wheel videos that the sports van has been de-stickered. And the reason is this: it's for sale, and so is the president. Why am I getting rid of these two? Well, a friend of mine, who shall remain nameless, offered me a vehicle that kind of does the job of both. And it's this. What is it, you might ask? It's a toaster. Actually, it's a Suzuki Spacia. 660 cc's of mighty power, 3-cylinder. It's also a hybrid and a very handy little vehicle. Does all the cool stuff, like this for instance. Now see, it has 4 seats like the president. It can also do van duties. Takes the place of both, so they're up for sale. The thing is, this is Barrel Brothers, and those simply won't do. It's a standard wheel. It's 4.5 inches wide. It's a 15-inch. They're 165, 55, 15-inch tires. So I figure we'll better figure out what's actually going to fit on it. We might need a bit of paper for this one. 15 by 6.5 plus 45. Because if you look there, like the hubs are just about level with the bloody guards. First of all, what I'm going to do is find out what I can actually fit in there. Good thing about it is, because they're built like, there's nothing sort of up and behind there. It's very shallow. And the same up here with the fronts. There's nothing really there. I'm not going to go crazy with this one. Actually rides really well. It's quite surprisingly fun to drive. I'm thinking something like a T37 in white. All right, picture it like a 6-spoke, you know, fat 6-spoke, white. Maybe we can put a 5.5 or a 6, maybe a 6.5 with poke, but it's certainly never going to run a 7 or anything. We can't do flares on it, and I'll show you why. No room, like literally no room. If you could put a flare on it, it'd be a centimetre or so. So pointless. Okay, so we could, but I think we could probably end up with a little bit of poke if we stretched the tyre. Do we want to go that silly? If we can get something that's sort of level with the guard, that'd be awesome. All right, so we'll do some measurements and see what we can come up with. Just a few other details. Custom. It's a CVT, so constant velocity transmission, but it does have a manual mode, in which case it's got 7 gears, which are just set positions really. I don't know if you know how a CVT works. It has the electric motor. It's a 660cc, 4-wheel drive, and it has traction control. Maybe if you're driving on wet grass or like an ice skating rink or something. It's not going to have a much in Australia, but but it's got all the mod cons, you know. It's got the light brakey thing on it. You can get these with a radar cruise on it as well. All sorts of stuff. It really is a very cool little car, and comes with a shopping basket, which is probably for your shoes. But like, look at the stuff in here. You know? Glove box. Junk box, cup holder, another glove box. It's got little pockets in the doors. It's got drink holders over there. Got the full screen reversing camera. So much stuff. Oh, Japanese gadgets. Oh, that's a cool feature. Like flip up tables, like airline type stuff. The bloody room in the back. I mean, that's with the seat all the way back. It's not a great deal of room behind there, but like, wow, you know, plenty of room. The windscreen's so far away from the driver and the roof. It's like, you know, this is built on the same spatial dimensions as the Cappuccino. except it's got like 45,000 times more room. And you just sort of step straight in and out of it because it's so bloody upright. But yeah, better take my pointer. I've already had lunch, so I don't need that. Let's get some measuring stuff. And measure what sort of a wheel we can fit on it. Just looked it up. 15 by 4.5 plus 45. I'm used to dealing with like negatives. And somewhat wider than, yeah, that anyway. All right, so let's see what, if we want to come out level with the guard, where that will actually be. A bubble in the middle. Millimeters. 21 millimeters out. Yeah. 17 millimeters on the front. All right, now we've got to sort of crawl around underneath and see what we can get on the inside. Looks to have a bit of room. We use the same sort of tyre. We can go in and stretch the tyre a little bit. I figured that with only maybe 20 millimeters extra on this one, 17 on that, maybe a 6 at most, maybe a 6.5. It's still going to have to be like 38 or 42 or something like that offset to put it on the inside. Anyway, we'll have a bit of a scrub around underneath and see what the story is. Okay, if we have a look up here, we've actually got plenty of room. It looks the tightest actually looks to be on the suspension just here. Just move that around a little bit. On the suspension arm, in that gap there. That does bend forward a little bit. And there doesn't seem to be much at all up the top there. So I figure that suspension arm is the one that's going to be the telling unit. So maybe 30 less. 25 millimeters is about the closest thing. Gives us a little bit of room on the inside actually. Let's have a look at the front. Closest thing on the front here looks to be the shock absorber. There's sort of plenty of room. It's just the strut there. Might do a little measurement on that, see what I can find out, but I need both hands for this one. 25 millimeters on the front on the inside too. So we'll take that as a hard 20 millimeters or hard 25. So we knock 5 mil off and we've got 20 millimeters in and 22 out, 20 millimeters in and on the front and 17 millimeters out. Okay, out come the rulers and see what we can find. Here we are in the shop. It's even more echoey than usual because things have changed somewhat. Got to get rid of a couple of these guys too. Because my daughter has started moving her candle shop stuff in here because she's going to be taking over this area. Except for a little bit over here and here that I'm going to have. But yeah, that's all going to be hers. That's why it smells somewhat better in here because she makes scented candles. Let's get a bit of paper and see what we can come up with. You guys can peer over my shoulder as we work this out. Okay, so we have, oops, sorry. All right, so here's the standard wheel. 15 by 4.5, that's it. That's it, that's how wide it is. Okay, half of 4.5 is what, 2 1/4? 2 1/4. All right, so there's the center of the wheel. Now these are plus 45. So that's where the hub is. That's where at a 1/2 inch. That's where the actual outside of the wheel is. Jeez. Jeez. And then our measurements, well, we'll do that twice, which is we'll do front. That can be the front, and this one can be the rear. We'll do the same thing again. 4.5, 2 1/4, 45. Right, there's our hub. Actual wheels is 1/2 inch on either side bigger. So that's our measurements. Okay, that and there as well. And this is the rear. So we know that both of them have 20 millimeters clearance on the inside, from where the actual wheel is. So that's the, we'll call that the guard on the inside, and we know we have 21 millimeters on the outside. That's our guard, and the that's the rear measurement. We need the front measurement, which was only 17. It's only up to there. Where's my whiteout? That one, not this one. And this one we have 21 millimeters on the outside and 20 millimeters on the inside. Well, actually more than that, but doesn't matter. So that is our actual wheel that we can fit in there. So that is 6 inches wide. Okay, so just over 7 inches, you get that, the overall width of the wheel, which means we're going to knock off 1/2 inch on either side, there and there. That gives us a 6.5. Half of 6.5 is 3 1/4. 3 1/4, right? And the measurement to the hub from there is called 48 millimeters. Oh, so that we can go a 15 by 6 plus 48. That's ridiculous. I think we'll have to go in with some poke. And front we can fit just under a 7, so it's pretty much going to be square. So we can go out our 6 and at the moment, because we're 4.5 inches wide, like that, our tyre is actually like that sort of thing. You know, that's an exaggeration, which means we can come out quite a bit and have it square, or out even further and have it stretched. That's our tyre, that's our rim. Got that? Okay. We're not going to fit a 6.5 on there, that's for sure. A 6. 48 though, that's ridiculous. Maybe a 42. It's about now, I use a site called willtheyfit.com, and I start punching numbers in to see what's actually available. I can get like a 6 plus 42 or something like that. I think that might work for me. Yeah, that's tough. And that's a hard guard there. Well, the next thing is, let's have a look what's available. I'll be back. So after a fair bit of mucking around and going onto my best favourite site for this thing, willtheyfit.com, use these guys because they're really good. Buy wheels and tyres from them, they'll help you sort everything out. But this thing, this little tool here is awesome sauce. So I've worked out that a 15 by 6 plus 42 will actually fit quite well. And this is why I like this site, because they give you a little pictogram of the old one, and the old one is in orange and the new one is in green. You can see that there. So, and that's with we're using the same tyre on both. And the reason I'm showing you this particular size is I've been fizzling around on Yahoo Japan, and I've actually found a pair of not T37s. T37s were a bit problematic. I couldn't find anything under 7 inches wide. So I sort of looked around for 6 spokes and found SSR Type C in exactly that size. Now I could only find a pair of them, and the other pair I found was 5.5 plus 42. So they're, you know, they're virtually the same, except they're like sitting in a 1/4 inch, which is only about 6 mil. So that's really not much, you won't be able to tell. But I got onto my good mate Jesse Streeter and said, buy these for me, which he did, and they are winging their way towards us right now. So this is really exciting. Yeah, we're going to put wheels on the toaster. It's a week later, and look what's turned up. This weighed literally nothing. So yeah, SSR Type C. They've got some greasy fingerprints on because I forgot to wash my hands. And they're white, which could be a problem into the future, but I have spun them up already and they are dead straight. It looks like this one has had a tube of the goop, put it like the puncture sealant put in it. It's got all this guncle on the inside. The outside looks pretty good. Got some little stuff. I'll give them a bit of a clean up. And these are going to look really good. These are going to look really good. Blue with the white. I think what I'll do, I'll give them a clean up, and then I might just stand them up next to the car on blocks of wood, and we'll have a bit of a perv, see how it looks. Very tempted to put them straight on because they are straight, but you know, it'll only have the two rears on, and I want to wait until the fronts turn up, so I don't know if I can hold off. We'll see how we go. Clean them up first. Good old IPA again. Might need a power clean. Oh no, it's coming off. Look at that. That's just my fingerprint. These are actually a 15 by 6 plus 45. So, not 42, 45. Must have noticed that in my haste to buy them. Chuck them on the scales, eh? I'm going to bet that these are significantly lighter than the standard wheels. So, let's try on, that's on 0. It's under 4 kilos. That's impressive. And if I sell the President and the van, I'll have 3 I'll be down to 3 cars, and they will be red, white and blue. Colours of the Australian flag and a number of other flags worldwide. I mean, what sort of an idiot buys white wheels anyway? I mean, really? I've actually got 2 sets now. Just going to stick them next to the car and see what that looks like. Coolest toaster on the block, I tell you. So all I have to do now is resist the temptation to put that pair on, because like just a pair on it is going to look. The other ones that they're paid for, I've gone the fastest shipping, so with a bit of luck they'll be here before the end of the week. I really like this thing. You know, it's comfy. It whizzes up and down the freeway. It gets phenomenal fuel economy, like 5.5 litres per 100. It actually has a power button on the steering wheel, which gives it more revs. I reckon a bit more boost, because it really does make a difference. The downsides of it's only got a 27 litre tank, but you do get 430 k's out of a tank. The other thing is the cruise control, being Japanese, you can bump it up to about 107. So it's left lanes in the morning, unless you want to drive up with your foot on the accelerator, which I had to do with that anyway. So I mean, none of my other cars have got cruise control. That may change in the future. But this is just this climate control air conditioning, which works really good. It's got the reversing camera, which I told you about already. It's just a bloody good car. It's really handy and it's comfy. And yes, I went down and picked up my mum from Gerringong and brought her up for my son's wedding. So it went up Mount Ousley, which if you're not Australian or even New South Wales or even Wollongong area, it's quite a steep climb. It's 80 k's all right. This thing went up there at 80 k's, but without the power button on cruise. At 80 k's without even trying. Zapped up, mum in there, and her, you know, she was staying for 3 days, so she needed like everything and the kitchen sink. So this stuff happens. Hey mum. Hi mum. Yeah, so I really want to put those words on. Stuff has arrived from Japan. Overnight pass from Japan in the form of the other pair of wheels. There's a few things you've got to think about when you're getting your wheels from Japan. The things you've got to think about when you get, especially if you're getting pairs from Japan, is the first thing you've got to think about is what happened to the other pairs. Well, generally, sold as a pair because the other pair is stuffed because the car was crashed into something. So generally all 4 wheels are on the car at the same time. So as soon as I get these unpacked in here, first thing I'm going to do is check the PCD is right. 15 by 5.5 plus 42. So they should be a good match. Alright, so they have casting around the edge like 4x100, 4x108. That's the first thing you need to check. I usually measure from this edge of the hole to that edge of the hole. And this is indeed 100. They look pretty round, so we might be in luck here. Let's just check the PCD again. 100. Alright, so PCD is prescribed circle diameter. Okay, so these are in a circle. from the centre of the hole to the centre of the hole, that's your 100, you know, 114.3, it'll be a bit bigger, 120, etc. But yeah, this is why it's a bit, you know, to measure from the centre of the hole is a bit difficult, so you just measure from the edge of the hole to the edge of the hole. That's what I know. Just give it a spin and see what the story is. Alright, so what you need to do, and these don't even have to be spun up fast, what you're looking is for lumps and bumps on these edges here. I'll just stick it on the old straightener. My other one that I used to throw everything on is now gone, so this one here. And that is dead straight. See these edges are just running dead true? But even if these are wobbly in and out, you need, it's this edge here and this edge here that you're really looking at. That's going up and down. That's pretty easy to fix. This is a little bit more difficult. That one is dead straight. Okay, that's 3 out of 4. We go 4 out of 4. That would be unusual, actually. Winner, 4 out of 4. Good duty. Could take them out and pressure wash them, but I found that pressure washing doesn't really, it'll get on the stuff, but it won't really hook into it. If they've got any corrosion on them underneath the paint, you can take the paint off as well. So this is the before shot. See how these have got these bash on wheel weights? I really just don't like those much on alloy wheels. Generally stick on them much better. Because these tend to come loose and then they slide around the wheel and your balance board goes off and it's horrible. Whoops. Alrighty, let's get them inside and start. Do you remember I checked that one on the scale? Alright, so this is a 5.5, so it's liable to be a little bit lighter than the other one was. Just get it to stay there in the middle. Stay there, you mongrel. There you go. Yeah, look at that. 4.2. I thought the other one was like 3.9. I'll have to go and get one now, just to prove myself wrong. Here's the standard wheel, which I can feel just by. It's still got the wheel weights on it too, but 7 kilos. So it's roughly 2 kilos a corner. Second a lap, you reckon? 3/4 of a second a lap. Lightweight racing wheels on a toaster. Now I'm confused. That's a 6-inch, and that is 3.9 kilos. Look at that. 3.9. Alright, so just to prove it, see, it's wider. It's also older. Here is the 5.5. 4.2. Maybe the 6s were made with Spartan air. Yeah, like R32 wheels. Manufacturer's specifications. Put the valve cap back on before you balance them. Already, instead of the tyre being like that, it's now like this. That's only on the 5.5. 6 is going to sit out slightly, like another fraction each side. But yeah, better already. So that's a sign of a good tyre. See how that's running sort of fairly flat. You get a lot of the really cheap tyres that are lumpy and bumpy. Let's have a look. Normally you would clean the wheel, but because I've already cleaned them, it's still nice. Okay, 0-0. Perfect. See how it changes the look of the vehicle? Really changes the look of the vehicle wheels. Looks better already and it's not even on the ground. Now I've got to do the other side. I think that looks a lot better. Could definitely do with some lows, and we're sitting up a little bit at the front at the moment because the wheels are still like that. So driving along not to be right, but yeah, much improved. Could have gone a bit wider too, but well, maybe you could get a 7 on there. Yeah, maybe the 6 is on the front and maybe a 6.5 on the back. See how we go. The Jess, very pleased. Well, there you have it. It's how to measure up your wheels on your car. And buy something to put on. I think we definitely need to see there's gap, there's too much gap. So we'll need to bring it down a little bit. And I think we could probably go a little bit wider. Those 6s would probably work on the front. Maybe if we could get a 6.5 at the right offset, we'll stick that on the back. But that's just a wheel fitting exercise. I think that's worked rather well. White sets off the blue nicely. Good on you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. How unprofessional.